Hey everyone, it's Friday, September 12th, 2025, and today we're doing something a little different, a focused, single-story deep dive on an immigration moment that has sparked a lot of conversations among students and families around the world. This episode is a special in-depth look at a Bengaluru student whose F-1 visa was denied under INA 214B after what he describes as a brief, probing interview. No sweeping policy promises here, just a careful, thorough walkthrough of what happened, why it matters, and what it could mean for other applicants navigating the non-immigrant visa process as it stands today. If you've ever wondered how the line between being highly qualified and being deemed unlikely to return home is drawn, you'll want to listen closely. We'll unpack the context, the trends, and the human story behind the numbers, and we'll end with what to watch next for students, educators, and policymakers. Okay, to set the stage, this is a Friday episode because it feels timely, end of a week when conversations about U.S. student visas and non-immigrant intent have been buzzing in university towns and parent groups worldwide. The Bengaluru case centers on a candidate with strong grades, robust funding, and a clear plan for study in the United States. Yet, during the interview, the officer suggested that his level of achievement might paradoxically work against him, implying that he was too successful to be a genuine student who would return home after his studies. There isn't a formal rule that you can be denied simply for being too successful, but the practical effect is that officers assess whether the applicant has convincing ties to home, a credible post-study plan, and funding that aligns with a temporary stay. This episode examines how those standards are applied in real life, and why this particular story has touched a nerve in India's student community and beyond. So what happened, and why does this matter beyond one interview room? Publicly released data show that F-1 refusal rates rose in the 2023-2024 fiscal year, continuing a trend toward tighter scrutiny of non-immigrant intent. Officers reiterate the same core test. The applicant must prove they intend to study, have a legitimate plan for funding, and will depart the United States after the program ends. For older applicants, or those well into their professional or academic trajectories, questions about ties and future plans can become more nuanced. In this Bengaluru case, the applicant reportedly held strong academic credentials and full funding, yet the perceived risk of non-return seemed to surface in the narrative, with interviewers seeking a crisp, plausible explanation of how staying in the U.S. beyond the program would align with his career trajectory back home. What does this tell us about the practical realities of getting a student visa today? One common thread across many stories, like this one, is that high-achieving applicants aren't automatically shielded from scrutiny. Instead, they often face sharper questions about return plans, employer commitments, and how DS-160 and I-20 details align with their stated intentions. The behind-the-scenes demand is for a clean, coherent story, clear intent to study, explicit post-graduation plans that tie back to a home country, and unambiguous evidence of funding and ties that convince a consular officer the applicant will leave the U.S. at the end of the program. But what does this mean for the broader ecosystem? For students, it underscores the importance of articulating a precise, credible post-study pathway and ensuring every document, DS-160, I-20, and interview narratives, tell the same story. For universities and counsel, it highlights the need for transparent guidance about what consulates are looking for and how applicants can present strong but compliant plans. For policymakers and analysts, the trend toward closer scrutiny reflects ongoing debates about non-immigrant intent, talent mobility, and the balance between attracting global students and safeguarding immigration objectives. As we look ahead, the Bengaluru case may foreshadow continued recalibration of visa screening practices. Will there be clearer guidelines to help applicants avoid contradictory narratives? Will consular officers receive more training on distinguishing genuine ties from mere appearances of ties? And how will applicants adapt their stories to satisfy a more evidence-driven, consistency-focused process? All of these questions matter because they shape who gets the opportunity to study in the U.S., who returns home with new skills, and ultimately how international education ecosystems evolve. This episode isn't just about one interview. It's about how the modern visa process interprets success, intent, and allegiance to a home country. It's about the real human stakes behind the numbers and the ongoing tension between exceptional applicants and the safeguards that accompany non-immigrant visas. If you're someone navigating this landscape, or you're simply curious about how immigration policy plays out in individual lives, we'll keep unpacking these threads in future episodes. And if you want more context, data, and expert analysis, you can visit visaverge.com for ongoing coverage. Thank you for listening to this deep dive exploration of a single, consequential story. I'm your host, and I'll be back with more nuanced reporting as these immigration narratives continue to unfold. Until then, stay curious and stay informed with visaverge.com.